Life is a journey filled with peaks and valleys, light and shadows, moments of clarity and stretches of confusion. At some point, we all find ourselves standing at a crossroad, questioning who we are, where we're headed, and how we ended up here. Maybe it's after a heartbreak, a failure, or simply waking up one morning feeling lost in a life that doesn't feel like our own. The truth is, everyone goes through seasons of doubt and struggle, but the beauty of being lost is that it's often the first step to being found. As Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Self-awareness is the foundation of change. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge, and you can't grow if you don't first understand where you are. The world today moves fast, too fast. We rush from one task to another, constantly plugged into screens and endlessly distracted. But finding yourself requires stillness. It requires moments of quiet reflection where you can ask yourself some hard questions. Am I happy with where I am? Am I proud of who I've become? What's holding me back? Brené Brown, a researcher and author, once said, "You can't get to courage without walking through vulnerability." Reflection requires vulnerability. Being honest with yourself about your fears, your mistakes, and your pain. But it's only in facing these truths that you can begin to heal. Take time to sit with yourself. Write in a journal, take a long walk, or just spend an afternoon in silence. The answers might not come immediately, but every moment of reflection is a step closer to clarity. We are creatures of habit, and often our struggles aren't random. They're patterns. Whether it's always choosing the wrong relationships, self-sabotaging before success, or constantly feeling unworthy, these patterns tell a story. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The more you understand your patterns, the more power you have to break them. Ask yourself, what keeps repeating in my life? Why do I keep ending up in the same situations? Change doesn't happen overnight, but awareness is the first step. It's easy to point fingers at your past, your circumstances, or the people who hurt you. But healing starts when you stop waiting for someone else to fix your life. There's a subtle but powerful difference between blame and responsibility. Blame keeps you stuck in anger and resentment, while responsibility gives you the power to act. Maya Angelou once said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." You're not responsible for everything that's happened to you, but you are responsible for how you move forward. Own your story, take control of your choices, and remind yourself that every small step matters. One of the biggest traps we fall into is thinking we need to have it all figured out before we can start. But the truth is, no one has it all together. Life isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Leonard Cohen wrote in one of his songs, "There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Your flaws, your scars, your imperfections, they're not things to hide. They're the places where growth happens, where resilience is born, and where your story becomes uniquely yours. Let go of the need to be perfect. Celebrate your small victories, forgive yourself for your mistakes, and remind yourself that it's okay to not have all the answers. Finding yourself isn't a solo journey. The people around you matter more than you think. Some people will drain you, while others will lift you higher. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Take a good look at your circle. Are these people helping you grow? Are they honest with you? Do they encourage you to be your best self? Find people who inspire you, who listen without judgment, and who remind you of your worth when you've forgotten it yourself. And if you can't find them yet, become that person for someone else. When you're lost, it helps to have a compass. Your why is your compass. It's the reason you get out of bed every morning, the purpose that fuels your actions. Your why doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It could be as simple as taking care of your family, pursuing a dream, or spreading kindness wherever you go. If you're unsure of your purpose, start small. Do things that make you feel alive, even if they're simple. Often, purpose reveals itself in the little things. We often focus so much on the end goal that we forget to celebrate the journey. Every small step forward deserves recognition. Whether it's getting out of bed on a hard day, setting a boundary, or simply choosing to keep going, acknowledge it. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." You don't need to have it all figured out. Just keep showing up, keep trying, and keep moving forward. Finding yourself isn't about arriving at a perfect version of who you are. It's about embracing every part of your journey, the good, the bad, the messy, and the beautiful. It's about realizing that you're not broken, you're not beyond repair, and you're not alone. There will be days when it feels impossible, and that's okay. On those days, remember this quote from Rumi: "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Your struggles are not the end of your story, they're a chapter. And if you keep turning the pages, you'll see that brighter days are ahead. So pause, reflect, take responsibility, and trust the journey, because no matter how lost you feel right now, you are capable of finding your way back home to yourself. And when you do, you'll realize that the strength you were searching for was inside you all along.